Hey there, Earthlings. Thanks for tuning in to the Bardo Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Bardo, where we talk about health, happiness, and anything else that's important to us humans. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the podcast by visiting thebardo.com or just click the little subscribe button wherever you listen to the podcast. And be sure to check out my Instagram at thebardo for all the latest videos and content. Thanks so much and enjoy the episode.
You're just funny. It's funny, the way you tell the story and everything.
Funny how?
Come here though. Yeah, he's crazy, see? Who are you?
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Are you ready?
Well, hey there, friends. What is going on? Thanks for tuning in to the show. Just want to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry I haven't put out a lot of episodes. I've been starting this new career and it's going great and we're having a lot of fun and we're doing big things, but it's obviously dipped into my podcast time. So megumi, and I'm very sorry. Scusi. But we're going to try to keep ducking these out, so I'm doing them on the weekends and I'm doing them after work as much as I can. We got some big things planned. I got a couple guests that I'm looking forward to talking to in the coming episodes. I did just have one of my buddies, Jeff DeWaskin, who is a fellow podcaster. That is a few episodes back. And then, of course, I recently talked about how to take care of, your mind and how we should be mentally healthy. So I talked about that in the previous episode, but I just kind of wanted to rant a little bit because a lot of this stuff has been going through my mind and I haven't got an outlet to talk about it. But let's get into how crazy things have gotten lately, especially on social media and TV, and it's getting wild. But before we get into that, I do just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors over at Superfat. If you guys aren't familiar with Superfat, they are my go-to. They are my go-to snack. I love Superfat and everything that they have. They have keto cookie bites. They have nut butters. They have baking mixes like brownie and pancake mix. And you can get all this stuff and not feel guilty about it because it's actually good for you. It's keto friendly. A lot of the products are vegan friendly as well. You could visit superfat.com to check out everything they have. I don't think you'll be disappointed. There has not been one product that I don't like. Of course, I'm biased, but I recommend you try it out for yourself. Go to superfat.com, use the code Berardo10. You're going to get 10% off your entire order. It is crazy. You're going to love it, though. So thank you, Superfat. We appreciate you. With that, though, of course, the title is appropriately called of this podcast, Calm Down. Because what the fuck, man? Things are getting kind of crazy out there. Do you see everything that's happening? Do you hear about it? Maybe you're smart enough to not look on social media and the media and watch TV and stuff, but there's been some wild developments, and I'm a big Joe Rogan fan, obviously. He's the GOAT, in my opinion, from a podcasting standpoint, but also he's just a hilarious comedian. We saw him live a few weeks back when he was in Tampa, and it was fucking epic. Recently he got COVID like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. I think it was actually right after we saw him when he came to Tampa. Apparently he got hammered and he went out, drinking and after his shows and all that, and he thinks he got it in Florida. Doesn't surprise me because most diseases you do get in Florida, so that makes sense to me. But the reason I bring that up is because afterwards he went on his podcast and just kind of talked about what got him better. And of course, he's a millionaire now with this deal with Spotify, so he can afford the best treatment, like that Donald Trump president type of treatment. Ivermectin, he talked a lot about, preaches about having vitamin D all the time and, taking your supplements. And he's just overall a healthy guy, right? Healthy human. And I think that's what is going to protect you from any disease, including, COVID, right? You got to be healthy. You got to be healthier. All this stuff that's going on about the vaccine. Hey, do whatever you want to do. Do what you feel is healthy. But I think most people that are putting these restrictions in place and talking about, that you need to get vaccinated, I think a lot of it is good intentions. There's a little bit of squirreliness going on for sure. But the reason I bring up Rogan is because he was talking about ivermectin in particular, and there's so many memes and like shirts going around because ivermectin is, a treatment used for a lot of things. One of them is eradicating viruses, and it's also used in some animals as well, but it's been used for years. So CNN came out and said that he was using a horse dewormer, and you shouldn't use that. You shouldn't use ivermectin because it's a horse dewormer. And anyway, he called out CNN on their bullshit. And then, he had a couple experts on from CNN. One of them was just a doctor that doesn't necessarily work for CNN. But I recommend you check out his podcast because he talked about that. But not only did he call out CNN, but CNN ended up, they tried to defend themselves even more. And it's crazy how, like, the credibility of the media is just getting worse and worse and worse. And I've always been the person that, even especially during an election, because it gets even more crazy, I watch both. So I watch like Fox News, I watch CNN, I watch ABC, I watch CBS, because it's interesting to see all the different perspectives. But like, when did this happen to where now we're going after Joe Rogan, who has a way bigger platform than any news station in the world? He's probably the most famous, quote unquote, media source, even though he isn't really a source for information, but a lot of people turn to him for information. And he has a much bigger audience than CNN or Fox. So when you talk shit about him, if you're not being truthful, he's going to call you out, and he's going to bring in experts to debunk whatever you said. And he did that. And still, CNN is just standing by their word, saying that that was a horse dewormer and it wasn't a proper treatment for COVID-19. What's funky about that, the reason I say about there's different interests and stuff, what's weird about that is it is being treated for that. Like, doctors are prescribing it. Not all doctors, because there's not a lot of studies on it, but there's not a lot of studies on the vaccine either. Doesn't mean the vaccine's wrong. I think this is all new information for everybody. It's weird that, like, we're not open to trying things out and having discussions around it. Another person I want to bring up is Dave Chappelle. You can look up this information for yourself. But he has been getting a lot of heat from the transgender community in particular, from one of his specials, Sticks and Stones, a few years back that he put on Netflix. And then he just put out a new one, The Closer, which was fucking hilarious, as always. He is truly the GOAT of comedy as well. And I bring these two guys up because Dave Chappelle's getting attacked. Not by a lot of it, not by the transgender community, but from the media. And, people are asking for him to get canceled and that he shouldn't have said what he said. And you can go watch The Closer for yourself and formulate your own opinion. But I thought it was great. And whatever people are saying, I don't believe in it, or I don't believe what they're saying, rather, because I've watched him for years, and I'm sure a lot of people that actually physically know him would probably agree that, dude, he's just a comedian making jokes, and the story that he told was a heartfelt story, and that he's truly a good person. But it's just so weird how we attack people. Like, there's so many people out there that just want to attack opposing beliefs and ideologies. And when did this happen? Like, I don't know if it was because of Trump. I don't know if it was because of maybe the pandemic. It's gotten worse because people are not interacting as much with people. But we need to calm down, man. Like, it's okay to be different. It's okay to have different opinions. It's okay to want to do one thing, even though you might not think that's the best thing to do. But why is that your problem? Unless it harms you as a human, like physically harms you, not emotionally harms you, because I think there's different levels to that. Of course, we don't want to emotionally harm anybody, but if Dave Chappelle said something and he was mad at short Italian guys, I'm not going to get offended. Like, who cares? He's not talking to me. He's just a comedian doing his thing, right? He's just speaking. And when did we get so offended that every single person that we hear talk, or every single person that we see, we think that they should conform to us? Where did we all get this ego that we're better than other people? It's so weird. It's so weird. Especially because, me, I haven't always been like this, but I'd like to think I'm pretty objective. And especially since I started this podcast, I've been very objective. I've just been trying to be open-minded with a lot of different stuff, and talking to a lot of people has really helped me. But, there's a lot of things that I don't believe in now that I did before, and vice versa. There's a lot of things that I didn't believe in, but now I actually believe in it. I'm passionate about certain things now because I've talked to people and I've had conversations with people, and I've learned more from people on this podcast. And then obviously I think if we just all go into every conversation with an open mind and not think that we're right or wrong, that's the key. What was it, 100 years ago? Maybe 150, 200 years ago? We thought the earth was flat. We've learned new information. Now we have actual real data. And there's a lot of people that still believe the earth is flat. But, if I talk to somebody that believes it, like I'd love to have someone on the podcast that thinks that, I'm open-minded to listening to them. I'm not going to tell them they're wrong because, I don't know. Is NASA lying to us? Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, we've seen pictures, sure. I haven't seen any pictures of the earth being flat. I've seen more of them being, a circle. Earth is a sphere, whatever that is, an orb. I've seen more of that than the flat earth. So I probably believe, more into that. But like we also believe that way back in the day when we saw stars, we thought those were gods in the sky. We know now that stars are actually like far, 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 far away. They're not actually gods or humans or mythical creatures. We know that now. We've learned new information. So I'm not saying that, if I learn new information that's not right or wrong, but, I think it's worth exploring. It's fun to talk about. And man, for some reason, we lost sight of that. We lost sight of the optimistic, objective thinking. And I don't know why. It really boggles my mind. And it's kind of frustrating too, right? Because there's certain things that I believe in and that I'm passionate about. But because, there's trends right now and there's ideologies going around right now where it's like sometimes we feel scared to voice our opinion. But if I was to voice my opinion on something, why is that an issue? Why does anybody care about it? Again, like I said, unless it affects you mentally or unless it affects you physically or emotionally, why does my opinion matter? Like I'm nothing. Just like if you tell me my beanie looks stupid, that doesn't affect my day because I don't care what you think. I'm going to wear the beanie, right? Why is that conversation different than any other topic that we talk about? What you do on a daily basis, you should not let what I say affect you. And we're so sensitive. And it creates a lot of anger all over the place because we're so sensitive. And I think if we could lower the sensitivity level, us as humans, individually, if we could just lower our sensitivity level and try to think of positive things and, not put things in our body that are bad for us, because of course that messes up with our hormone levels and testosterone levels and emotions. Like if we have a lot of caffeine in a day, guess what? That's a stimulant. You're going to get fucked up. If you have a lot of booze in a day and you drink a lot of booze, guess what? You're going to get fucked up. You ever see like a frat girl on tequila? It's terrifying. It's not a good thing to be putting in your body, all that stuff. The next day, she's not going to be the most positive person, right? So the less we do of that and the less we intake bullshit, whether it's negative bullshit from other people, whether it's food and drinks that we're consuming that's affecting us mentally, physically, the less we do of that, I think we could start moving in the right direction, man, of just being not so sensitive and not caring what people think and what people are saying about us or the things that we believe in. Your religious beliefs. Believe what you believe. If someone tells you you're full of shit, who cares? Doesn't mean they're right. Doesn't mean they're wrong either, though. Right? Because they're okay to have their opinion as well. But, when you're going after, the reason I bring up Rogan and Chappelle is these are very big icons. And they have a voice to defend themselves. A lot of people are going to get called out on their shit. There's a lot of negatives that has happened with the internet. A lot of negative things, rather, that have come from the internet. But there's a lot of good things. And the good thing is, back in the day, these news stations and, people on TV could go and talk shit about other people. And those other people won't be able to defend themselves. But now everyone has a TV. Everyone's got these little devices in their pocket, and they can say whatever the fuck they want to say. That's also a problem too, right? Because they could be speaking truth, or they could be spitting nonsense. And that's why I think it's important we pick and choose, listen to the good stuff, flush out the bad shit that you hear in these devices. And we got to stop consuming this negative stuff and stop worrying about what people are saying and just focus on ourselves, focus on our loved ones. I don't know. I just had to get that out there because it was annoying me. Because there's so much good going on in the world right now, and there's so many positive things. We're not focused on that because we're so worried about this bullshit that's going around. Like, ugh, calm down, people. There's so much better things out there. Focus on the good. Until next time, guys. We'll see you on the Barda Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Peace.